What if I were to tell you that this printer is one of the best budget printers of 2023? Would you believe me? Well, let's find out. Here's the latest from Elegoo. It's the Neptune 4. No, it's not the Pro. Elegoo sent the pros to the pros. I mean, it makes sense. They know I'm not a pro, so they got it right. Right? Yeah, they did. I'll keep telling myself that. Anyways, I'd be hard pressed to say this is a Neptune 3. I mean, it looks identical. V-rollers, detachable touchscreen. I mean, everything looks the same minus this big blower on the back and this Ethernet port on the side and a few more inputs on the front. Otherwise, it looks identical. However, it's not. The internals are different. It's running a much better processor and it's running Klipper. What does that mean? Well, Elegoo is claiming that this bed slinger can reach speeds up to 500 millimeters per second for printing.
Really fast.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. But, I just take a stroll back on memory lane and yeah, my last bed slinger that claimed those speeds didn't work out too well for me. And now it did for others, don't get me wrong, but for me, I review what I get and it didn't work out. So let's take a deeper dive and to see what you get in this for only $259 currently on their website. $259. Is this a race to the bottom? I don't know. Let's take a look. On the front, you'll notice 4 ports. The one to the right is for your touchscreen interface. Then you have your standard USB, USB-C, and micro SD. On the inside, you have a 64-bit quad-core processor that is running Klipper. And you have 8 gigs of RAM. That'll allow around 400 files to be added to it if you so choose. There is, of course, bed leveling springs and knobs. It does have a auto bed leveling mesh system. And there is a flexible PEI sheet, magnetic, of course. On the front, you'll notice that there's belt tensioners on the Y and the X axes. And if you're familiar with the Neptune 3 series of printers, probably predecessors, you got your magnetic display here, and it is very responsive touchscreen here. So if you're familiar with the Neptune 3 series, you'll be familiar with this as well. As we move up, you'll see the standard direct drive. Yeah, this is actually 25% less weight than the Neptune 3. It has the dual part cooling on both sides. To adjust the tension, you have to use an Allen key here. However, this nozzle can now hit 300 degrees. Yes, so you could print some nice high temp filaments now. You notice on the back though, we have this huge part cooler. Yeah, it goes the whole width of the bed. So let's go ahead and take a look on the back side of this. On the back here, there is 4 40-20 blower fans. And then you go turn it on or off by the switch on top. However, you could also software control it. You could do it right on the display if you so choose. There's 3 settings that we'll go over a little bit later. Unlike some other bed slingers with Klipper on it, this blower will kick on after the first layer is down. Who would have ever thought? There are 2 Z stepper motors for stabilization. Since this has a Z timing belt, I highly doubt that these are independently driven. Otherwise, you would have no need for that timing belt on the top. There is a filament runout sensor right on the top. And it swivels. I think that's one of the best spots for a filament runout sensor. You notice that there is a light here that is actually controlled on the display. It's called the headlight. There is also a light that's underneath the print head here, and that is called the observation light. And you can run them both, or you can choose not to. Now, this does not have Wi-Fi. However, it does have an Ethernet port, and if you want to access Klipper, you will need to attach this to your router through Ethernet. Yeah, that's a lot of features for only $259. Now, let's take a look at assembly. I mean, it's an Elegoo, right? Of course, just like any Elegoo machine, the box came extremely well packed. Nice rigid foam, gantry is installed by 4 bolts, 2 on each side, and you have the touchscreen mount, plug it in, do some wiring, follow the instructions for those, install your big part cooler, install your filament spool holder, filament runout sensor, and select your power. Follow the bed mesh leveling, and you're all set to go. Speaking of fast and easy assembly, that leads us to today's video sponsor, PCBWay. Are you looking for a PCB manufacturer? Are you looking for rigid, flexible PCBs? Are you looking for them to assemble them for you? Well, they can. And they also offer other services such as 3D printing, injected molding, and CNC. Heck, they even have a community section where you could buy a project and assemble it on your own. If you're looking for any of these services, please reach out to PCBWay. And I'd like to thank PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. Now let's take a closer look at the Elegoo Neptune 4 and see how it prints. But before that you start printing with this, you need to load the software. And the assembly video and software is provided on the included USB stick. They use a skinned version of Cura, which I don't really understand. I really would like them to just have a config that you could just put in there. But that's just the way they do it. And typically I just build my own profiles, but I like to give it the whole end user experience here. What you get from the box and printing. So let's go ahead and install the Cura, and let's see how we could actually connect Cura to the printer so you could just send a job right to it. The first thing that we're going to need to do is connect by Ethernet, then go to About, and copy down our IP address. Then we're going to launch Cura, and we're going to search Marketplace for the Moonraker connection. You're going to agree to all the terms and sign your life away that you have no idea what you're signing about. And once it's downloaded, we're going to need to quit Cura to install the add-in. Once you've restarted Cura and the add-in's installed, we're going to choose the printer in the drop-down, and we're going to configure the connection. And make sure you follow the format that's above in the yellow and type in your IP address. You're going to hit save. Ignore the other 2 tabs. Those are not needed. Make sure that you have your project in there, whatever STL you want. And now once we hit slice, there will be a couple more options. You click on the arrow pointing down, and now you can choose upload, and then click one more time to upload. This will give you a chance to change your file name, which gives you like this really long file name, so I like to shorten it, and then I'm going to send my job directly and print it. And voila, 100% uploaded. Now let's configure your browser. Now if you want to just view your job or go into Klipper, just type in the IP address like you did for the Moonraker. Voila, you're in. Say that you also want to view your printer. If you have just a USB webcam, just plug it in, configure it, and boom, you can now watch it remotely as well. Well, that wasn't too difficult. So all we have to do now is see how this printer prints and see how fast it goes. Now with the slicer, I decided that I'm going to just stick with the 250 millimeter profile that they had, which is plenty fast. And with what is on the machine, they had these 18-minute benchies. So we're going to take a look at that as well. So let's go ahead and see if it actually printed pretty decently at those print speeds, shall we? Let's go ahead and take a deep dive into it. First, we're going to start out with the Buddha. Yep, their standard print that comes on all Elegoo printers. And this is with Profit 3D, and this is their blue. Came out real nice. Bottom layer looks fantastic. Yeah, came out really, really good. And then I went with their 30-minute benchy. I didn't remove her little raft there. So, but this is their 30-minute benchy with the same blue filament. And I have to say, minus a little bit of ghosting right there, compared to what I dealt with the last time, this looks fantastic. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to do it on the Cura profile for the 250 millimeters per second. Again, we got some ghosting here on that side, but on the other side, not so much. But overall, 30 minutes looks really, really good. Bottom looks great too. So I decided then I'm going to switch to their translucent red. That is very vibrant. That is also by Profit 3D. Again, this is their stock profile for Cura at 250 millimeters per second. About a 30-minute benchy. Now I did notice, like I said, there's on the bow here that we have some, I can't tell if it's ringing or not, but I want to just switch out one more. This is Profit 3D's magenta, and this really can show what I'm talking about right here. It's either, it almost looks like an indent here. And then if you turn it the other way, this is where the big part cooler is blowing on. And that looks great. And not so much here. So when it prints, it's printing this way with the part cooler on the back. So I wanted to turn the boat around like this. And so what I did was, on this print, that's what I did. And what would you look at that? Gone. So having the part cooler hitting this side on this edge fixed that issue. And the rest of the benchy looks great. So yeah, not too bad. So then I did some Tripods Garage calibration cubes. Very nice edges. Yeah, it's hard pressed to say that it came out really good. And I have a little bit of a squish, too much of a squish here, but look at those lines. Those look great, and this is at a 0.12. Did one more in the translucent red here. Same thing. Looks great. There's your seam. I should have put it on a different one. Is that part of the... No, that's just... I thought I lifted part of the PEI, but nope, that's just a speck of dust. So I found some other files on Klipper, not on the SD. And here's one for a tool holder. This goes on the back of on your gantry, and you could just snap this in, and you can hang your tools in here. Your Allen wrenches, put your SD cards here, USB wrenches. Yep, that's pretty cool. And this is where you hang your snips. That's pretty darn nice. And here we have a nutcracker. No, not that type of nutcracker. One for nuts.
Hot, salty nuts! Who wants?
Yep, works great. Not the best overall print. I don't know what profile they were using. Again, this was buried in Klipper, So these were test prints that were ran on the printer before I even received them. So, and here's another one of their test prints. This is me trying to pull it from the bed. And you can see I pulled it too hard. But again, here's your seam here. That looks pretty crappy, but otherwise the rest of the print looks great. Found this bowl on there. Now that looks great. Look at that bottom layer. Again, they had some raft on there. But wow, that came out great. And this is Profit 3D's magenta. Really, really nice. So I said, okay, let's do something else. This is a print from Steven to Lightspeed. It is a iPhone holder. And it's a print in place. Again, look at that first layer. Looks great. And it's a kind of a tolerance test too. Look at that. That's pretty cool. I am actually a Patreon for Steven and Lightspeed. He has some great practical models and some fun models as well. And last but not least is Maker's Muse tolerance test. So, yep, I decided I'm going to give this a try. So let's go with, you can see that spins nicely. And we will start with 0.5, no problem. 0.04 or 0.4, 0.3, a little bit tighter, 0.2, and nope, I even tried to pry it with a flathead, couldn't get it. I mean, it looks like it should release, but I think it's more on the top right here. So the bottom looks absolutely mint. But yeah, all of these came out so much better than the last review of a bed slinger running Klipper. Well, there you have it. You got some very good quality prints at high speed on a bed slinger for only $259. That's pretty darn good. Let's go over some of the positives. Well, first, it's running a 64-bit quad-core processor with 8 gigs of storage that stores about 400 models on it. You have an intuitive touchscreen that looks just like the one on the Neptune 3. You wouldn't even know that you're running Klipper on this if you didn't connect it to your home network and take a dive into the operating system. It has a direct drive with the dual cooling with lighting, filament runout. I mean, and it's a very sturdy, well-built machine. All for $259. Now, of course, there's some negatives. It is on V-rollers. However, you could buy the Pro if you don't want the V-rollers. There's no Wi-Fi. Honestly, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're going to have Klipper, it should have Wi-Fi on here. I mean, it's kind of lame to attach it to a LAN cable. Granted, having a LAN cable is great, but I'm in my garage and I would have to run a LAN cable clear across the whole house, which I'm eventually going to do to get this on my home network. It has regular just timing belt synchronization for your Z. I would like to see it to be independent Z stepper motors. That would be a lot better. And it has silent drivers, but you got this big fan here. And it is software controlled. You can go into the display as it's printing. You could go from extreme setting to low to off. And you know, you can see here on my decibel meter here the differences. It's not much, but you should be aware that having these 4 blowers and the 2 that are on the hot end, the machine gets rather loud. But overall, you're getting a ton for your money with this machine. And I would definitely highly recommend this over the previous one that I reviewed. So I really appreciate you tuning in to Tripod's Garage. Please have a wonderful day, evening, or weekend, or whenever you decide to watch this video. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you the next time on Tripod's Garage.